What's up, everybody? I'm Preston from Good Game Nation. This is the Good Game Nation podcast. I'm here with...
Well, I'm Zach.
Sam.
And we're going to be talking about all things Dragon Ball Super today. First things first, Dragon Ball Super anime. What do you guys think about the current saga, the Universal Survival Saga? And what do you think is going to happen next?
Well, the saga before, I think, led really well into this one. We saw the introduction of these really powerful gods and angels through the Zamasu saga. So I thought it led really well into this one. They've been hyping this Goku versus Jiren matchup for a while now, I feel. And I hope it doesn't end that way, actually.
You hope Goku gets knocked out, and then it's like a Vegeta Jiren?
It's just always Goku. I'm just ready for someone else to have some light.
Yeah, there's a few theories that I've been working on. I think we're going to see Ultra Instinct Vegeta really soon. I believe he's going to be the offensive side. So we saw Goku react defensively. I feel as though Vegeta will be able to actually swing and physically hurt Jiren.
And Jiren has two other teammates right now. He has Toppo and I think it's like
Dispo.
Pretty
sure.
With those two, we still have 5 on U7.
Yep.
So it's going to end up probably being 1-on-1 Jiren versus somebody.
Probably.
Unless they end up going 5 on Jiren, which I don't see them ever doing anything like that.
Well, we still have some moments to happen. Every character before they got knocked out had a moment, minus Tien. So Andrew 17's already had his nice moment with the last episode. So we're probably going to see him next to Fallout. Gohan still needs his. Vegeta still needs his. I'm sure Goku will have another 6. So we're just waiting for these nice moments to happen. So that's probably what we're waiting for.
I actually think Gohan will be the savior. I feel like we're going to end up going through, like I said before, Ultra Instinct Vegeta. We'll probably end up having an Ultra Instinct Vegito or Gogeta at some point, even though that's not canon. And I feel as though Jiren will end up beating Goku, knocking everybody off, and Gohan's going to snap, kind of like he did with Cell.
Cell callback.
Yeah, something like that. I just want to see Gohan do something.
I think we all want to see Gohan do something, you know? Maybe just not even have to do something. Maybe we see like a little flicker of Ultra Instinct in his eye, like a little flash. Give something to the fans.
Yeah, I think Gohan, at least when we were growing up, he was the character with the Cell Saga.
It was everything.
So us especially want to see him do something.
Right.
It's true.
And we've seen a lot of these nice moments. Like the Roshi episode was amazing. Like we felt something for a character we had that had no screen time the last ever since Dragon Ball. That's had no screen time, but we actually felt something for a character. And even though if he died, we know he's not actually dead. So that's funny to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just need some of these nice moments back for some characters we actually had a lot of feelings with, like Gohan.
Yeah. So you think Gohan and Vegeta are going to have their big moment before they get knocked out, if anything? If they do get knocked out?
Well, it's been the trend, anyway.
Yeah. I also think Frieza will have a pretty big moment.
He hasn't done much. He actually started participating in that last fight. We saw him go golden,
right.
And then they got knocked out. So he does have his moment coming.
Feels like we're gonna get Frieza versus someone else versus U7. Like, I don't think he's gonna fight anybody from
until
I don't know.
What happens after an entire, like the last universe? Is it everyone versus everyone in, like say U7 to get the wish?
Well,
there's only one wish,
correct.
right?
I believe it's whoever's the last man standing gets the wish, and the last universe that survives just survives.
Yeah, they get to not be able to.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if like Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza were the last 3 standing, I believe they have to actually fight for the wish.
Okay, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we'd probably see Frieza go back to conniving and.
But we also
kind of ways.
We saw a brief bit of like his like creepy face when after Goku went Ultra Instinct the first time.
Right.
He's standing over him like, and he's like, "Oh, this brings me back," and then nothing. So it'd be really cool to get another little moment.
I feel like we're almost running out of time though, because I think the last episode we had 9 minutes left, so we're definitely running out of time. So we're gonna see stuff. We're gonna see it soon.
Yeah. So let's talk about the TCG. This is the new TCG by Bandai. They're bringing it back. Oh, they brought it back again. They've done did they do the first?
I'm honestly not 100% sure.
The first Dragon Ball, but it didn't last long, right?
The first one was done by UDE, I think.
Okay,
there was one a while ago, but then there was one recently, probably a couple years ago, and it kind of tanked.
Yeah. So now we have Bandai trying to put its best foot forward, doing a trading card game with a fan favorite anime. How do you think they're doing so far?
I think they're doing pretty well. ARG, I don't know if everybody's familiar with it, but for the most part, there's a competitive scene primarily out on the East Coast for super card players. It's from, like I said, ARG sponsors it. Jim McMahon is great. There's been 2 events so far. We had Hartford, Connecticut, and then we had
I think it was Orlando.
Orlando?
It was Orlando.
Yeah, we had Orlando. Both had pretty good turnouts. They both capped out 200 players or so. There was an extra 100 added into Florida, I believe.
Yeah, I think
it was like 320
Orlando,
something like
I think they said
327?
300 and something.
Yeah, I think we might have been at 327.
Yeah. Biggest yet.
Yeah. Saw a lot of diversity in the meta through the first one. And the second one was kind of, as most of us figured, primarily dominated by yellow.
Which is only surviving on one card, but we can get to that in a second. So we've seen the first 2 sets and the grow of the ARG larger tournaments. Do you expect more large tournaments to be popped up sponsored by other big companies like Top Deck or something that's like a brand that's in the community already, in the card game community?
I go to a lot of tournaments out here in Southern California, and I've heard rumors that there's a specific store who's trying to contact Bandai and do what ARG is doing for the East Coast over here in the West Coast. As those of you who play the game, you should all probably know by now, there have been, up until today, there was 6 scheduled ARG events, ARG regionals. One of them was on the West Coast, and that's Vegas. That's coming up this upcoming weekend. However, we woke up to great news this morning. ARG added 3 more regionals, one of them being
San Jose. Yeah, San Jose. It's nice to have a tournament, close to home. East Coast has been getting all the love, so it's nice that we're getting some tournaments down here. The success has been great, and we only have up to go. The sets have been great. They've been featuring a lot of the really popular characters we saw with the last set. We went a little more nostalgia with the Cell, so people were really excited about that. And we still got some of that super love with, the Jiren and the Kale and the Frieza. So I think it's complementing both worlds very nicely so far.
Okay, and you guys have played a lot of different card games. You played Yu-Gi-Oh, we played Naruto for a while, we played Pokemon, and some of you guys have played Magic. How do those card games compare to Dragon Ball Super?
It's really hard to look at one of these really young games and be like, this has a chance to make it like Magic. It's been around for 20 years now. It feels like it's been longer. Yeah, he's probably right, longer, probably closer to 30. And say, yeah, this game has a chance. But a lot of games have come and go. This game has a nice structure so far. It's entertaining, it's fun. The characters are well loved. They just have to make sure they just stay on this track, be open with the community, keep putting out product, and just keep listening to criticism.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think Bandai's done really well. They've listened to the community as a whole in terms of what we're looking for, what we would like to see. We're really looking forward to the possibility of, like Sam mentioned, a bunch of the older characters. For me personally, I would love to see Pycon or Janemba or somebody from that era, as well as maybe we can get a Super 17. Things like that have been pretty well mentioned throughout the community.
Definitely. I actually want to go back further. I would love to see some Dragon Ball. I would love to see some, maybe some really cool Roshi cards. Maybe some young Kid Gokus. Maybe like a Raditz, a Nappa. Maybe like a Jackie Chan. Like go real far back. Some Demon King Piccolo. Things like that.
Pervy Krillin.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Something like that.
Good. I do want to mention Bandai started at their event started at like Gen Con last year, and they had a little bit of showing at Comic Con, and then they moved into regionals. And the regional season is doing way better than what was expected. Every event had been capped within a month. Every event was capped. Jim McMahon and the ARG team did a great job of producing more space to get more players to be able to play. I think the only way to go from here is up. I think we'll start to see nationals, possibly even worlds at some point. The game reminds me a lot of it's a lot of Magic feel to me and a lot of Naruto feel to me. There's not I like you said, I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I played Pokemon, I played damn near everything. I would like to see more. You know what I mean? I would like to see more interactions, more, maybe the possibility of like dual color cards.
That would be interesting because right now we only have a lot of people play dual color decks, but we're playing two separate engines, or we play one engine and a support or a strong carry out of the other color, but we're not really seeing a meld of blue-yellow card or a red-blue card.
It would be really easy with like that new Frieza. Like, well, Frieza's primarily yellow, but since he's part of the U7 team, he's blue. So that would be a really easy example for that to happen, where he's half blue, half yellow. So that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but Duel Masters had
God,
it was forever.
It was
ago.
a short game that I think I played in elementary school.
They had their card was it was split, so like you would have a green and a red, and it would cost something like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
What kind of? I think before Set 2 came out, we were joking like, oh, they should do different things with leaders. The leaders are really stagnant right now. They all awaken at 4. They all draw 2.
Yep.
Blah blah blah.
And then like the next week,
they started showing out leaders, and it was like, oh, awaken at 6, awaken at 2. What would you like to see with a leader
that's the
interaction?
thing. That's the thing is the leader's a different aspect and completely different than most of the card games, where we have a stationary card that stays on the board, and it interacts differently with the deck. So we have leaders that always awaken at 4, and then we have the new set where the leaders awaken at 2, and they're stronger late game cards, and then you have things like the Android and Mobity where they awaken, where they're kind of weak, but they get stronger later on, or in some cases they don't. But things like the leader, that's what makes the game different. So if we can manipulate that creates uniqueness, and that can separate us from comparing them to other card games like Magic and Pokemon. So we can actually have their own categories and have their own things. Like the awakening mechanic is, I don't know if I can compare that to other card games. So if there was other cards, like there's Results of Training where it manipulates the awakening. Maybe we can get a card that awakens for a turn. Like we were joking in the car the other day where maybe we get a Kid Goku leader, right? And we get like an extra card that says, it's like a full moon, awaken for a turn. And he does, like his awakening is just amazing. And then he flips back over. Something like that, you know?
Something that you have to force manipulate your awakening.
So it manipulates the uniqueness of the game. So instead of trying to be like every other card game, we can add to make the game unique in its own class.
So we started to see parts of Set 3 with the Masked Saiyan and the Gotenks, which the Masked Saiyan and the, was it 4 or 5 other cards that come with him in his like little booster set?
7, I believe.
Seven cards
including
those cards are colorless, and I think a while ago it was leaked that there was going to be a 5th color, but we were all joking purple, or it's going to be a different thing, and it is a different thing with colorless, but with colorless it looks like Masked Saiyan might be splashable and everything. What do you guys think about him being a staple for all decks?
Card is good. Card is really, really good. That's probably the first generic staple card that everybody will be playing. I don't think it'll be a 4 of in most decks. I'd probably play around with 3 because you want to see it, but realistically you're only going to get maybe 2 off a game. So, but I do believe that it's a staple card, and I think a lot of the lackluster leaders that we have now, that a lot of people have really high expectations for, like your Goku Black leader, your Zamasu leader. I think those are going to be in a better place once that card comes out. I personally am excited to play Goku Black when the card comes out. Being able to manipulate your energy and your discard at the same time, you could have a massive turn barring a Bloodlust where you drop your Joyful Strike, plus you evolve into the one that clears their 3 energy, and then you can still play that on top of it. And if you want to try to bait Bloodlust, you drop the Mass Saiyan first.
It opens up a lot of interesting plays. Colorless is something like we kind of see in a Pokemon, right, where we have the normal Pokemon, right, where they can have any energy attached to it. So it's kind of a similar mechanic to other card games we've seen before, but the reason that the Mass Saiyan is so different is because it actually is a crippling effect where you need to run like green to get anything similar to this kind of style. So not having to run like some cards like Kale, right? Like we feel like Mass Saiyan might actually completely remove Kale. Like I see a lot of scenarios where you might just run Mass Saiyan over Kale, and it really opens up a lot of deck building options because it looks like the whole next set is going to have a lot of these colorless options. Yeah, and it's quite exciting.
From what I've been reading, I'm on the forums a lot and I'm on the Facebook groups and all that good stuff. So we keep saying that it's colorless. They're actually black. The cost to play these cards is colorless, so they can be played by anything. But if you were to charge Mass Saiyan, it would be considered a black energy.
Yeah, so it doesn't count towards your mandatory colors,
exactly.
But it can fill in the spot, kind of like if you're playing a blue-yellow.
So you're suggesting there might be cards that cost black energies.
I think the new color that comes out in the set is actually black. Reading on the Dragon Ball Super card game website, when you bring up the picture of the Mass Bardock and everything, it actually says these black cards have no cost, no specific color cost. So in the future, when they release more black cards from the context of the words, they will end up costing black energy.
And then on top of that, we haven't talked about Gotenks, which has 2 abilities. He has 1 auto, but he's a fusion, obviously. But his Goten in a effect will draw, I believe, and his Trunks effect KOs something on the field.
Correct. So that's So Porta, right? So you have to actually ditch both from the hand to actually bring it up.
It's a fusion.
It's a fusion.
I believe it was a union fusion. You still ditch both of them from hand.
Okay.
So you should get both autos, I believe.
Right.
So you're gonna be able to, I believe, draw 1 or 2, whatever his effect is, and then kill 1.
I believe he's a 5 drop?
I believe he's a 6 drop, but he porters at 4, or fusions at 4.
2 green though, correct?
2 green. Yeah. 2 green. But I think this really increases the value on the Mass Saiyan engine itself. Like, the Hero to Live Vegeta engine just became even more amazing, because now just having an option where a Gotenks actually pops something on the board. Because before, most of the Gotenks are utility, right? They have the 3 drop that pops a late game, that's really good late game, and you have the 5 green one that's just outstanding, and then the red one puts pressure. But now we have one that actually controls board. I think it just increases the value of the Mass Saiyan. The Mass engine just
Mighty
makes
Mass.
it amazing. Mighty Mass, thank you. Mighty Mass engine is just amazing now.
I actually do think, because if I read correctly, the Gotenks draws 2 cards. So essentially you want to Mighty Mask, get your Goten and your Trunks, ditch both of them for the Gotenks, pop something, draw 2 cards, and then you have I believe it was 25 double strike?
I believe it has double strike.
Right?
So that's cool. It's going to push forward that Mighty Mask engine further, and then you're not just relying on the Vegito?
You're still going to rely on the Vegito.
Well, you don't have to rely on this heavily.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about getting it in hand. You have another option.
Correct.
Do you want to talk about Bloodlust, the only reason yellow's good, or save that for another time?
It's just running the meta right now. There's not a lot we can really say about it, especially with Mecha Frieza making it free.
Absolutely free.
But there's nothing you can really say about it. You just have to play through it. But for now, it's going to run the meta. Next set comes out in March, so
it's close too.
Hopefully we have something.
Far away. There's the 1 ARG event before March, right?
Yeah, we have there's 2. There's actually going to be 1 in February, I believe. I believe that's Richmond, and we have Vegas this weekend. after Richmond, we should know. That's when the card league should come out, and we should start to see, what's going to happen here, get your ratio of your SRs and all that good stuff. See what the new secret rare is, because now they, with with set 2, they want to do a secret rare in each set, so we can see where we go from there. I mean, a lot of speculation already is, we're going to get an Ultra Instinct Goku, so we're probably going to have like 20 of that card at some point.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts before we head out?
No, just enjoying this game, and I hope they really just keep communicating with the community, because I think that's really one of the strongest things that Bandai has done so far, is being open with us.
Yeah, that's huge. A card game that actually listens to the response from the community is moving in the right step.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us here today at Good Game Nation. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to try to get these up on the iTunes Store and Google Play and everywhere that you enjoy your podcast. Just in case you don't want to look at our faces, you can listen to our sexy voices over a long car ride or whatever. So thanks for stopping by, and come back soon. Thanks. Get your giggles out. Get your giggles out. You good? Don't stare at me. I'm going to look right at the camera and do this. First try.